This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's always important to take care of your home, and well, one of the people that's going to talk about how you can do that, one of the best ways to do it, is Lacey Coleman. We've got her in today. She is from Coastal Comfort, and Lacey, I understand today you want to talk about indoor air quality, why it's important, and what people need to know about it.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much. So in the springtime, we start dealing with a lot of, plants and trees, grass blooming. So homeowners are, and indoor, outdoor, depending on the temperature, it is getting a little bit warmer. So we are starting to go outside a little bit more, but still generally through the cooler temperatures, there's a lot of time spent indoors. So some things to think about, inside when you're thinking about breathing the air. Could be stale air, it's been sitting for a while. You want to make sure that the ventilation in your home is as tight as possible. So you want to make sure those bath fans are actually vented outside. So what happens when you are running the bath fan, when you shower and everything, if you're just dumping that humidity back into the home, it's breeding ground for moisture. Crawl spaces are also a really important part of the home that are often neglected.
Because you're not down there, you're not thinking about it.
It's out of sight, out of mind. So if you have a really wet crawl space and things like that, so you have a lot of moisture, that's eventually going to make its way up into the home. So we really want to think about areas of moisture, bathrooms, kitchens, any type of plumbing, make sure there's no plumbing leaks, and in the crawl space as well. Make sure the ventilation is vented to the outside. Air conditioning drains, that's another big important one. As your air conditioning is running, it creates condensation. So you want to make sure that drain is draining to the outside. Years ago, it was very common to have them drain in the crawl space. This is not
the best idea.
We'll call it not best practices. We grow and evolve and change, industries do. So now, we do things differently. So you want to make sure that drain is draining to the outside of the foundation.
I think it's underrated, by the way. A lot of this stuff, we're talking about, HVAC world here, but
sure.
This is health. This is your health 100%. In your home. The air quality in your home really does make a difference. Yes,
and it's really a whole home perspective. You can't just fix any one thing and then, hope that fixes it. I wish it was, but that's why we're talking about, I'm not a crawl space, company. That's not my specialty, but I know how important it is to the health of the home and also to, our health as well as for the air that we breathe. And then air filters is another thing. So, not all equipment is made equally, and air filters is the same. So there's the MERV rating, which is the minimum efficiency reporting ratio. So the higher that ratio, that number is on the filter, you want it to be higher, and that means the filter is more efficient at filtering those particles that are floating around in the air. You can also take it one step further and get an air purifier. So that will also have the high MERV rating, usually around 15 or 16. And then it also has some other technologies built in that were capture and kill, which is carriers, technology for the carrier air purifier of different viruses. So you're talking about the flu virus, the coronavirus. It really does help filter the dander, dust, all those particles a lot more efficiently than just your standard 30-day throwaway filters.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're talking about the viruses and stuff. We've gone through a heck of a flu season.
Sure
That's
have.
rough. Does this also help filter out any allergens? I'm an allergy guy. My eyes get scratchy. Does it help with any of that?
Absolutely, it does. So we're seeing, homeowners that are very sensitive to, to have different allergens. Pet dander is another one. So yes, there are different products, including the enhanced filtration, but also an air purifier that will really help pull those, particles, microparticles out of the air, so that ultimately the result that you have is a cleaner, fresher air, and hopefully less sickness. You can breathe, your eyes aren't, watering as much, your nose isn't as stuffy, you're not having the reaction as much as you would be, at least, inside of the home, which is where we spend so much of our time anyway.
Well, sells me on that one, because again, I got the allergies all over the place. So if somebody wants to do something about it, they want to improve their situation, how do they get a hold of you guys? What do they need to do to maybe tackle this issue?
Of course, Facebook, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, website, coastalcomfort.com. You can call or text our phone number, 410-742-1435.
Well, thank you so much for coming in here today. Yeah. We're going to take another break here, but don't go anywhere. It's the coast. We've got a lot to talk about. CoastLife coming up next.